For all my subscribers, you want to see what New York looks like? This is New York, baby. 10 miles of traffic. I just passed almost 10 miles of traffic coming from the Verrazzano Bridge, that traffic is, and it's 10 miles long. Now I'm going to the Verrazzano Bridge, and I don't know how far I am because I forgot. I'm coming up on Richmond Avenue. It could be 5 miles away. I can see the bridge. I'm about a mile and a half away from the bridge. But this is 10 miles of traffic. And that's nothing. That's nothing. It goes back another 9 miles. Not only does it go back 9 miles, but it was traffic before that as well. And these roads suck. These roads, I just hit a bump that pushed my vehicle over to the right. About, I don't know, it could have been 12, 15, 17 inches to the right. I don't know what the hell it was. It was a notch in the road that actually bounced the front of my truck off the ground, and you know my truck is loaded. It bounced the front of my truck off the ground. There's another mile of traffic that we just passed. It bounced the truck off the ground and pushed it to the right. Now, if there was a car close to me on the right-hand side, I would have hit that car. And we're coming up on the Verrazzano Bridge. So these roads suck as much as the George Washington Bridge roads suck. And the traffic, it's Friday afternoon, it's 2 o'clock, October 24th or 25th, and the traffic goes now 12 miles of stopped traffic. Not 2 miles, 12 miles of stopped traffic. And there is no accident. There is no accident at the end of that traffic. What it is that leads to the Goethals Bridge. And the Goethals Bridge was built for the narrow cars back in the 20s. So the 2 lanes, well, let me put it to you like this. 2 tractor-trailer trucks, if they were both magnificent drivers, could theoretically pass one another on the Goethals Bridge and have 2 or 3 inches of space. But mostly they don't pass each other. And that's why this traffic exists. Now it's 13 miles of traffic, stopped traffic, with no accidents and no real reason for traffic. It's not a holiday, it's just a Friday afternoon, and this is typical traffic. Now, what I gotta do now is I'm gonna try to get onto the upper level of the Verrazzano Bridge, because the lower level is, well, the lower level has 1 lane closed. Imagine doing this every single day. Imagine sitting in that traffic every single day. Every day. Every day. Every day. Oh my God, imagine sitting in that traffic every day. The traffic is backed up across the Verrazzano Bridge all the way to Brooklyn. All the way to Brooklyn. Imagine sitting in that traffic every day. My dad brought all the supplies, well, not all of them, but he was the master captain on this Verrazzano Bridge job back in the 1958, 59, 60, 61, 62. It was a 5-year job, and he brought the barges and moved the barges around for the pylons and the fill and the cofferdams and all of that stuff. He moved all the barges and the cranes and everything around for that. Now I got to get into this right lane here. because no. Hey, buddy, you see the blinker? Watch. Did you see the blinker? He saw the blinker, but he was going to go ahead of me. But that didn't work out so well for him. I mean, I got a load, pal. This is the Verrazzano Bridge, and my dad operated, I forgot the name of the tugboat. I think it was the Lillian Rose. And on the right-hand side, that's Brooklyn. And on the left-hand side is Brooklyn too. But on you can see off in the distance is the Coney Island parachute ride. Well, you can't see it, but I can see it. And I can't really focus that well with one hand. So I'm going to leave it like that. And they're working on the bridge. What they do is they have a crew of painters that paint the bridge. And when they're finished painting the bridge, they start again on the other end. Theoretically, that's pretty much how it works. Now, inside these cables, what you see is a dual set of cables, okay? Let me explain to you what's inside there. Nickel, tungsten, 5/16 wire, and I think there was 146,000 miles of it. Enough to go around the earth 7 times. And it's woven, twisted, spiraled, and encapsulated in something called cosmoline, which acts as a lubricant and an anti-moisture barrier. And I think there was enough to go around the earth 7 times. And I had a piece of that wire in my house for many years. We used it for a lobster grabber. The tongs, we made a set of tongs out of it. Shit was almost impossible to bend. And this is Brooklyn, and that's Manhattan over to the left. And normally I would take the Belt Parkway, which would bring me pretty much directly to my house. But I can't because I have a load on the truck. And there's the Verrazzano Bridge, and I gotta try to remember where I'm going now. But I haven't taken this way into Manhattan, into Queens. I have not taken, oh my God, this road is very narrow. Oh, I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Atlantic Avenue. Okay, so we gotta get over to the right because Atlantic Avenue is gonna go east. And this is the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. This road is pretty good, actually. Okay, so we need something that will bring me to Atlantic Avenue. Now, there's a couple of ways to go. You can take Flatbush to Atlantic, which is what I might do, because I forget which is the right way to go. I haven't been on this road in I think 2000, in the year 2000 I was on this road, but I was going in the other direction coming from Atlantic Avenue, or was it Bath Avenue? I took the back roads through Bath Avenue by the golf course back there. So this is, actually I used to know these roads pretty well, but it's been 18 years since I lived in New York City, and I really didn't look at a map. And although I have a map in the glove compartment, can't get to the glove compartment. Anyway, this is the BQE, and if you take this, it loops from here all the way around up to through Queens. That's why they call it the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. So you can actually take this, I could probably actually take this to where I want to go. And this is, we are going through a place called, very Jewish area. I forgot the name of the place. I should remember it because I am Rabbi Jew Barker. I forgot the name of the place. But it's an exclusive, lot of Jewish rabbis, very wealthy Jewish people, very, very tight-knit Jewish community. Almost impossible to buy a house here unless you're Jewish. Anyway, and wow, these buildings are new since I was here last. I don't remember them. There used to be warehouses on the left side. I don't remember what was on the right. There was a big warehouse on the left side, storage. East Queens, Bronx. We could take the BQE. This will bring me almost right to my house. It'll bring me up to Atlantic Avenue. It'll bring me right through Forest Park, which is about 5 miles from Howard Beach. And they've rebuilt the upstairs there. That's a beautiful thing. And this is these are called Brooklyn tenements. They're usually 4 stories or 3 stories high. They're walk-ups, no elevators. Although maybe now that they refurbish some of them, there might be a service elevator in some of the newer ones. But the older ones are still 4-story walk-ups. And I have worked in many of these buildings doing various jobs of mostly plumbing when I worked for a plumbing contractor when I was a kid. But now they've refurbished most of them into condominiums. And from what I understand, these used to be very, very low income tenements. Maybe $150 a month. You could rent any of these apartments that you see. And now I understand they're selling, you know, condominiums for $500,000. You went really fast past me. You and your little Kia. Cut me off. He's in a big hurry. Like he's gonna go somewhere. Anyway, I did especially work on that water tower up on the building to the left. I actually put the pump in on that building with one of the companies I work for. You can see it better from here, maybe. Right up on the top of this green building to the left, there was a pump in the basement that pumps the water up to that water tower. And then we did some plumbing upstairs. There's a series of pumps and valves and mechanisms. Now this is all downtown Brooklyn, and it's a pretty interesting place. We've gone through, probably been through Red Hook. There's Manhattan. The Brooklyn Navy Yard is up a little bit further. Now, any of these buildings with a window facing Manhattan is considered a very exclusive. I mean, if you can see Manhattan from your house, you're like the king, because most of the windows in Brooklyn just face another empty building. Another building. Okay, so we have, and now I'm in traffic. Oh my God, there's the Empire State Building. Is up at about 11 o'clock. Right there. That's the Empire State Building. You can see the Chrysler Building. And we're coming up on the BQE. That would bring me near Aviation High School, which is where I went to school. I could even get off there on Greenpoint Avenue and crisscross over on one of the little bridges. I'm not going that way though. folks. Clear day, no fog, no haze. Very crisp, cool, wintry day, 50 degrees. See, we're coming up on Queens and Bronx East on 278. I don't really want to go there. Probably should have got off on the first exit and navigated my way back through Flatlands Avenue and Flatbush Avenue. But I didn't really want to do that either. That's Bruno Truck Sales. That's the first place I ever bought a truck from, Bruno Truck Sales. Okay, now where are we here? There are people that do this every day. This is their normal daily routine in this traffic. Imagine that. Yeah, I'm gonna get off on one of these, you know what? Yeah, I probably went in the wrong direction. I don't know that I could have went in the other direction. I might have, you scumbag motherfucking lowlife cocksucker. Fuck you. You see that? Fuck you. Can you see that? You motherfucker. Yeah, he saw it. There's the Statue of Liberty, baby. Yeah, I see it. What they're beeping their horn. There's one fucking car length of empty space, and the cocksucker has to beep his horn. Statue of Liberty's over there. There it is. There it is. Oh boy. Everybody has to cut ahead of fucking Mike. Low like scumbag bastards. They know that the goddamn exit is back there a mile, and they cut ahead of everybody. Okay. No. to the right here. Take you guys through the BQE because I have time and it's a pretty cool trip. So for my YouTube subscribers that have never seen New York, you're going to see the trip on the BQE, which is the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway, which brings you from Brooklyn to Queens, and if you stay on it, it loops right back again to where we are now. It's a full circle around Brooklyn and Queens. We used to do this on a Sunday morning. When we went out for bagels, we'd get bagels, coffee, roll a couple of bones, and then do this trip through Brooklyn and Queens, and then go back to Howard Beach. Zoom in, give you a little zoom. I should have wanted to be right where this church is, right here. I think that's 36th Street. That's where my school was. I couldn't get off here. I don't remember if... I believe that church is by my school, or another one just like it. People do this every single day, every day. Every day they get on this road, they go to work, or they get on this road and they come home. And I'm getting ready to get off this road right now. I'm not going to do this for 10 more miles. I'm going to put my blinker on and I'm going to wait for somebody to be courteous enough to let me get ahead of them. So now we have one person that said nay and two person that said nay, but the third person, there was a big space, but even though when I saw me coming over, even with my blinker on, he gave it gas. That didn't work out so good for him at all. Because I got balls and he got cut off. That's right. There you go. Have a nice day. I also have a 24-inch machete on the dashboard. I'm not allowed to carry a gun. But I can do weed whacking if the need arises. I am allowed to trim trees. I'm going to get off on Atlantic Avenue. Yep, there are people that do this every day. Anyway, I used to do this trip. Well, I know the back roads. There's other ways to do the Brooklyn, Queens when there's traffic. You can come down Atlantic Avenue and you can take Flatbush Avenue towards the Verrazzano Bridge, or you could come down Atlantic Avenue and you can come back through the back streets on Flatlands Avenue, Rockaway Avenue, like that. But we're getting off on Atlantic, and that will bring me straight up to Kennedy Airport, within a couple of blocks of Kennedy Airport, and that's where I'm going, Kennedy Airport. So Atlantic Avenue will be one clear shot, and at this time of the day, the lights should be headed east, where you don't hit a light for the 8 miles that Atlantic Avenue lasts before it gets to Woodhaven Boulevard. Yeah, this BQE thing is getting old. So we're going to Atlantic, and then we're gonna go we're going to make a left on Atlantic Avenue and head east. Stop sign, which I do stop for because I really don't feel like getting a ticket. Now that's a New York City bus. That driver let me go. Thank you very much. Seems I have a load on the truck. Which you can see also. We don't want to get off on Clinton Street. I gotta tell you something, 20 years ago, this would not be where you'd want to be. You would not want to be here at night. In the daytime, maybe, if you had a couple of guys with you. This was just not a good place to be. Only because if you broke down here, right now, 20 years ago, where we are, on Clinton and Atlantic, you'd be in a world of shit. Flat, busted water pump, you'd be in a world of shit. Oh, I am on Atlantic Avenue. Okay. Man, I should have got, this, okay. We can go this way. Now, Atlantic Avenue is going to bring me straight to Woodhaven Boulevard. She was cute. This was, you could have come down here, put your hand out the window on any one of these blocks on the side street with a $20 bill, and they'd hand you $20 worth of rock. $10 bill, $10 worth of rock. $100 bill, $100 worth of rock. They didn't care who you were. They didn't care what you looked like. They didn't care whether you was a cop or not. Nobody bothered the rock dealers down here. These guys were doing $30, $40, $50,000 a day in rock. And they had baggies, regular baggies, Ziploc baggies full. And they would just pull rocks out and count them right there. 10 rocks, they were usually $5 rocks. 20 rocks, 100, they didn't have it bagged, and they would just hand it to you. Not that I ever did anything like that, but I heard stories. I'm a pretty good listener. Okay, so we have more traffic up there, and another red light. I guess somebody told me, Frank from Ozone Park Lumber, oh, look at the chemtrails. Frank from Ozone Park Lumber did tell me this place was changed into like an Upper East Side of Manhattan. Okay, we're still on Atlantic. Yeah, we are. I don't want to make a turn. Don't worry, buddy. I don't care. I don't really care either about that. I guess I'm in a turning lane. Yeah, well, such is life. I have a Florida plate on. I'm allowed to do that. Atlantic and wherever the hell we are. I don't really know where I want to be now. Oh boy. Oh boy. Whoa boy. Is that a turning lane? Okay. School crossing. Okay. Yeah, we're in Brooklyn, baby. That big clock. For some reason I remember that big clock. I have to do something by that big clock, or I don't remember. I don't remember. Sirens. Hold on, I gotta pull over. Son of a bitch. Man, these fucking people, they're relentless, these son of a bitches. They don't give you an inch. You know, I pulled over, I did the right thing, and everybody else used it as an escape route to go forward. Actually, I'm sure it's illegal, even in Brooklyn. Yeah, I'd spent a lot of time down in this neighborhood too. I had friends from high school. Also, I did work down here, but not much. Not in this area here. Now this 3rd Avenue that you see here, that's the 3rd Avenue. If you follow it down far enough, no, that's a different 3rd Avenue. Sorry. know what the hell this thing is. I see that big clock though. Maybe it was... I don't know why I remember that big clock. Must have been some marker of where I don't remember. I just remember I know the big clock. Maybe because of the men's warehouse store across the street. I did used to buy clothes in there. But it was something that I had to do down here, and when I got to that big clock, I needed to find a parking spot. It's funny how you don't remember shit that you did 30 years ago or 40 years ago, because even when I was 16 or 17, I was coming down here. There's a bus, 2 buses brings you right here from my mother's house. One across the street to Q11, and then the next one is the Atlantic Avenue. And I had friends that live up a little bit further up this road. Oh, what the hell was that guy's name? A couple of friends. They were whippet freaks, but they were my friends. You had to make a right. I think it was 6th Avenue right here. I forgot the guy's name. Boy, New York City has changed in the last 20 years. This is a beautiful neighborhood down there now. 20 years ago,
Very different.
It's very different. My friend told me, he said, you won't even recognize the place. It's all cleaned up. It is. You have a nice Thanksgiving. Straight, and I'm going straight. What the hell was that guy's name? There was 2 guys. One of them was married, a really cool lady. Kurt was the whippet guy, and I was 25. Kurt was about 35 or 33. And the other fella, I forgot his name. I got along really well with him. We used to, we were part of an association, and Kurt was part of that association too. It was about 50 of us total. And what happened was Kurt got into doing whippets, but he used to sit in the car with 2 or 3 cases of 12 whippets or 24, however they came, the little nitrous oxide bottles. And he would sit in the car and just zone out for sometimes hours, even days, and he was a whippet freak from hell. The other guy would have to go out and get him out of the car, because Kurt didn't live with the other guy who was my friend who was married. And eventually Kurt blew up, I think he blew his heart up in the car doing whippets. I don't remember, that was back in like 1981 or 82. But the other guy I remained friends with for a really long time, and he lived down one of these blocks, I think it was 6th Avenue, in a basement apartment. A really cool dude though. And he might have been closer to 40. And we used to like to party. But when we partied in New York City with that crew that I hung out with, I would say there were 45, 50 men, young men, friends, and then the girls that we hung out with. And even when we went to like a Donna Summer's concert, we would get, what the hell was it, what the guy's, Gravedigger Johnny Gravedigger. He used to get tickets from Ticketron. He worked as a grave digger, but he had a part-time job as a Ticketron guy, and he would get tickets to like Johnny Mathis. We would see Donna Summers at the Westbury Music Theater. Was the favorite place to go. And there would be anywhere from 35 to 40 up to 70 of us, men and women, sometimes more during the holidays. And we would go and we would have the first, the seats in the Westbury were about 20, not 20, maybe 15 wide between the aisles, and we would have the first 5 rows of seats back. If it was 15, we'd have the first 75 seats back. I'm going to show you these beautiful buildings with the ornate work. Soon we're going to go into Manhattan. And the roofs are made out of copper and slate. And you know I'm telling you the truth. And those are the original wrought iron railings from over 100 years ago. Because I'm telling you the truth, ladies and gentlemen, because I am Rabbi Jew Barker. I am Rabbi Jew Barker with the beard of a wisdom, with the weird of a wisdom over the beard of a wisdom. I got myself locked into a pile of shit here, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'm off that screen. Couldn't see, it had flipped into another screen. So all of these stores, well, they were a whole bunch of different types of stores back then, but they were mostly thrift shops, and there was a lot of glass and mirror places left over from the early 1900s. A lot of commercial refrigeration and food equipment, and a great deal of chandelier places where you could buy crystal chandeliers. This area here was especially, if you didn't want to go into Manhattan, this was a chandelier, an area where you could buy chandeliers as well. And I think, if I remember correctly, that's the old Brooklyn, yeah, that's the Armory. Uncle Aldo used to work there. It was a shelter, but it's the Brooklyn Armory. It's the original Brooklyn Armory, but then they turned it into a shelter for the homeless people in the 70s and the 80s. Funny, Uncle Aldo lived on Franklin Avenue in Long Island, and he worked at the Brooklyn Armory, which is on Franklin Avenue. That's an interesting factoid. And that car wash was always there. And there's a shortcut. What the hell is going on here? This would bring you to someplace we don't want to go. Bedford Avenue was a pretty rough neighborhood in Bedford-Stuyvesant. That's what it was. Now, I did work, if you go down this avenue here, or 1 or 2 blocks up further, there's a building on Hart Street, H-E-A-R-T. And I did a renovation on Hart Street. And across the street from where I did the renovation was a Muslim mosque. And I don't know, maybe it was on that side of the street, because there's a mosque over there. And I know I was within a few blocks of where I am now. And I had a bunch of copper, a couple of 100 pounds of copper and aluminum windows. And one of the Muslims came by. He had one of them big green and red hats, like a Jamaican hat. It might have been Jamaican Muslim. And he came by and said to me something, you know, like, what's up? And I said, hey, how you doing? And he asked me if he could have the scrap metal. Now, I wasn't much into scrapping, so I said, sure, no problem. And he said he was going to donate it to the whatever, his center for the Muslims. I said, all right, take it. He says, if you ever need anything, you just let me know. Now, I was going to be there for a month and a half or 2 months. I was renovating an apartment. I said, all right. And, well, not too many days or maybe a week after that, a couple of guys came into the neighborhood and saw that I was working there, and I had my aluminum ladders, 36-foot ladder to get up to the top floor from the back access of the back of the building, and a couple of smaller ladders, my tools, and they said to me, we're gonna take these ladders. And I said, no, those are my ladders, that's not scrap. And he goes, we don't give a fuck whether they're scrap or not. That's a train. So I had the ladders on the top floor, and I ran downstairs to the Muslim Brotherhood guys at the Muslim Center, which was just across the street. It was just a little door across the street. And I said to the guy, I said, there's a couple guys trying to rob me. And the guy says, all right. And I don't know where they came from, but it looked like fucking ants pouring out of the back of the fucking one of the back rooms. About 10 or 12 guys with those black and red and green caps came out from the back room with pieces of pipe and wood with fucking 20-penny fucking spikes through it, and ran up the stairs to where my tools and shit were, and they had a conversation with the black guys that were going to rob me. And then they told it, I remember that they said, look, and not only don't we want you, but pass the word around that this guy is cool, and he's a protected contractor. However he said it, I never had another problem on that job. Not one fucking problem. For the whole time I was there, nothing got stolen, nobody bothered me, nobody came in asking me for no metal. The Muslim guys took the metal, and nobody ever bothered me again on that job. It was pretty cool. That was my first encounter with the Muslims. So now we have Tiffany's Auto Center. She's cute. Very cute. Spanish. Puerto Rican Spanish, to be more precise. They have some of the most beautiful women down here. They're mixed Puerto Rican and Italian and German and Irish. My God. Used to come down here on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and see these little storefronts here? There would be like a door for that building right there. Register your motor vehicle right there. But it wouldn't be that door, but I mean a door with some stupid sign that looked like it was there from like 1910. And you'd knock on the door, and the door would open up, and the guy would say, what's up? And say, want to go in? And you hand him $5 because it was a cover charge. And this is the train station, how you get up to the train station. And you'd walk in, it'd be like a discotheque for the